Hi again from the garden. It's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So today is June 15th and I am way overdue on giving you guys a tour of the hoop house. I thought today would be a perfect day to do so. So I want to take you inside and I want to show you everything that I have planted inside. It is officially fully planted right now. But before that, I just want to tell you a little bit about the actual structure that I put up. So the structure that I put up is a 16 by 28 low sidewall greenhouse. It's from Grower Solution. They're a company out of Tennessee. I am extremely happy with it and actually was pretty fairly easy to go up. I would have liked to have it up a little bit sooner in the season, but we had a really slow start to the spring. We had to wait for the frost to get out of the ground. So I didn't get my ranunculus and anemones in there in time to get a full crop this year, but you know, that's how it goes. I can pull the corms and save them for next year, but I am extremely happy with it. I want to show you kind of a few features of the low sidewall greenhouse. I also will put a link in the description below to their website, and anything that you order off their site, if you use the code SUNSHINE, you save 10%. They not only sell structures, but they also sell things like the shade cloth, seed trays, anything that you would need for growing. So anyway, before I take you in and show you all of the different varieties of plants I have in there, I want to show you a little bit about the actual greenhouse structure. So for those of you that are new to my channel, I am an urban flower farm. I'm located here in Northwest Iowa. I've been a professional photographer for about 20 years, and so my garden is actually located in the parking lot and the side lot next to my photography studio. And this sidewall greenhouse is in the east end of my parking lot. We scraped a bunch of gravel off, brought a bunch of topsoil in, and that is how we made the planting beds. I have a large planting bed just to the west of the actual greenhouse, and then more raised planting beds to the west of that. So the door to the actual greenhouse faces south. It is in full direct sun all day long. There is a co-op building to the north that is a white metal building that reflects light really well. It's just the perfect growing space. And again, this is a 16 by 28 space. We are planting in ground in the inside of the actual greenhouse. And one of my favorite features that I want to show you is the roll-up sides. So let me run up to the corner of the greenhouse and I want to show you how easy those are. I am so glad that I got them, and I think it was pretty much a necessity. So let me show you how those work. So this is the southwest corner of the hoop house, and you can see this is the low sidewall. That's how it gets its name. So we have a header up here. This is just a 2x6 treated lumber board, and then this is the actual side that you can open up for ventilation. So there's wood at the base here, there's wood here, and then we actually screwed the shade cloth and the plastic to this header, and so this is the part that you can ventilate. And then the black strapping that goes across the top and down the sides, that is what holds everything in place. And so then the end of the pole here just has a handle on it, and you crank it up. There's another handle on the other end, and let me show you how easy this is to work. So I can just roll this up by myself. I pretty much keep it vented most of the time. We have had a couple cool nights where I have closed it, but I pretty much keep it open 24 hours a day this time of year. In the winter, of course, this will be rolled down, and then we'll put more wiggle wire here to close everything up, but it works so easy. I'm having trouble getting it staying up on its own, so we have added this rope, and eventually I want to add a little hook so that it just stays all the way up, but we just put some rope for now. And then that hooks on the handle to keep the side up, but both sides are open. It keeps it about, with a combination of the sides rolled up and the shade cloth, which is a 40% shade cloth, it stays about 30 degrees cooler in there than it normally would. The shade cloth I got off of Amazon, and that is linked in my Amazon link below. I got it a little bit shorter than the hoop house, and I think next year I will probably get a new piece, but for now it's working great, and I am so glad that I have the shade cloth on there. All right, so let me take you inside the hoop house and show you all of the varieties that I have growing. Okay, so we are inside the hoop house. I absolutely love working in here, especially when there's a light rain. It is so cozy, and I can see myself trying to do some projects in here late fall and really early spring next year. But anyway, the layout for the hoop house is I have 3 planting rows. So being 16 foot wide, each planting row is 4 feet wide. So I have a 4-foot row here, and then I have a 2-foot pathway, and then another 4-foot planting row, a 2-foot pathway, and one last 4-foot planting row. And then they stretch the entire length of the hoop house, which is 16 feet long. I decided to lay landscape fabric in the hoop house in most of the area just to be able to keep the weeds suppressed and everything under control. So the 2 outside beds have the landscape fabric, and then I have taken the torch and burned the holes in for the specific plants. The middle row I elected to leave open because this is the row that I planted my ranunculus corms in. Now, if you saw those videos and have been following me at all, you know that I was way late on getting these planted just because we were late on getting the hoop house in. Again, that's how it goes. I will definitely be able to get things in a lot earlier next year, but this is where all of the ranunculus were planted. I have since dug them out, and this entire space now is my dahlias, and I have a couple starting to pop through the soil. Let me bring you in and show you those. So I would say I planted these about a week ago, and you can see there is a really nice one popping through the soil. That one is Ferncliff Copper. You probably can't read my tag, but that one's looking really nice. And then I know I saw another one down the line. Oh, I see 2 more. Here's a nice little cluster popping up. Let me focus that for you guys. Oh, come on, camera. There we go. That one is Diva. And then right next to it, there's a nice one coming up. That one is called Joey Morella. So I should start seeing a lot of these starting to pop up. I would think in the next couple days, I'm going to see a lot of action in this bed. Now at the very end of this bed, this is my anemone patch. And you can see I actually have a few anemones blooming. This one's about ready to open. And then also in here, I did transplant some of the ranunculus plants that were looking good. I don't think any of them are going to do anything. In fact, since I transplanted them, they have started yellowing and dying back. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull these, I'm going to dry them and put them in storage for next year. So like I said, I think I should start seeing the dahlias all popping through the ground in the next week or so. When I planted these, I amended the hole that I planted them in with starter fertilizer and compost. Dahlias are very heavy feeders, so you want to make sure you fertilize them when you plant them and water them well all the time. And then when I planted these, I planted them 12 inches apart this way and 18 inches apart this way. And so I have 2 rows in here that are 18 inches apart, and then the 12 inches is the spacing per row. And I will be supporting these dahlias. Once I see them all popping through the ground, I plan to put T-posts in here and some nylon rope, and that will corral them in. I know I don't get a ton of wind in here, and I'm debating whether I put floral netting on like my snapdragons and my stock or not, but I do want to corral the dahlias because these plants get so massive. I want to maintain a walkway in here as well. I need to be able to get through the plants. Now, this is the first patch of dahlias. My main patch of dahlias is in my other garden, which you will probably see in the next video. I have not yet planted those, so I guess if you succession plant dahlias, I'm like right on trend. But I'm going to do a full video on how I plant my dahlias. But it will be really interesting to see how the ones in the hoop house do versus the ones outside. You know, how tall they get and thick the plants get. I'm wondering if the bug pressure will be much less in the hoop house, even though I have the sides vented, but it'll be a really great comparison throughout the year. All right, let me show you everything else that is planted in here. So then just looking at the rest of the hoop house, this is the west bed, and this whole area right here is Feverfew, and it is starting to shoot up some long stems. I have an area in my other garden of Feverfew that is 2nd year Feverfew, and it's actually blooming right now, which you guys will see probably in the next video when I do a full garden tour. But this Feverfew is 1st year and actually not too far behind. You can never have enough Feverfew, in my opinion. Then this whole patch is snapdragons. I have already been selling snapdragons at the market, so you don't see a ton of color, but I do have some that just opened to the right point yesterday and last night, so I need to harvest all of these today. These are Costa Apricot, one of my favorites. I absolutely love these. The Costa series is supposed to be an earlier blooming variety. However, I have already been harvesting the Potomac series, and that's probably because I'm in the Hoophouse and I've had some of the Potomac Royal and some other colors. But the Costa is just absolutely one of my favorites, the Costa Apricot. Then right past those, I have a little patch of Bupleurum, and I've kind of been letting this go. I thought a lot of it was ready to harvest, but it was a little bit short, so I thought I'm just going to let this sit in the ground, and it actually now is getting nice and tall. Like, you probably can't really see this comparison, but this stem right here is a good 18 to 24 inches tall. And I just love Bupleurum. If you're not familiar, it gets these, if I can focus, it gets these little, come on camera. Okay, there we go. It gets these little clusters of yellow flowers, and you want to make sure that all of the clusters are fully open when you harvest. And I like to condition my Bupleurum for a full 24 hours before I use it in a bouquet because it is prone to wilting, but it is a fantastic filler. I also have more of this growing in my full garden. And right next to that is a really, really, really sad patch of ranunculus. I just need to pull these corms out. You can see I have one little bloom that I was too late to harvest, so I just let it go. I'm going to pull these corms, and I am probably just going to direct sow something in here like cress or Leia that will grow fast and I can use as a filler. Then if we move around at the back of the Hoophouse, I have 2 crates of Oriental Lilies. And if you saw my video a couple weeks ago, you saw me plant these. This crate is popping up. The soil is a little bit uneven. I think my daughter was out here digging in it. But one of these is a yellow variety and one of these is a white variety. I've never grown lilies before, but I really wanted to try them for a focal flower. So this will be fun to see grow. I actually have 2 more crates of lilies that I need to get planted, hopefully today. Those are, I think, Royal Sunset, which is sunset-y colors, and then maybe just a pink color. So that'll be a good variety to add to the stock for this year. And speaking of stock, let me take you over to the other row, because that is where all of my stock is planted, which I have also been harvesting. So now we're on the east side of the Hoophouse, and I have stock planted from the corner all the way to here. I have a yellow variety, or maybe this is the pink variety, that you can see is thickening up and getting taller. Then this patch gets a little taller. That's either a yellow or pink. Those are plugs I ordered from Farmer Bailey. And this whole corner is where I have been harvesting out of. These are miscellaneous varieties that I grew from seed. And this one is getting really tall, but just has florets at the top, which is fine. I can use it in a bouquet. This one is a little bit shorter, but check that out. Is that not so pretty? I think this is the one from Johnny's. It is the white that is like 90% double germination. You guys will have to look into that, but I think that's what that variety is. And some of these in the middle are quite a bit shorter. Hopefully those get taller. But I've already been harvesting some out of here for bouquets, but I'm hoping that these just continue to grow and completely explode, and I can offer these to florists. So then as we move down from the stock, I have a patch of Echo White Lisianthus here. These were plugs from Farmer Bailey, and I'm starting to get blooms on all of the stems. Look at this. Oh, aren't those just beautiful? There's a speck of mud or something on that one. But all of them are budding up. And I think as they get buds on them, they're going to just continue to get taller. And I hope I have a really nice crop of these. I'm so excited about that. Then right next to the Lisianthus, this is a patch of direct sown cress, looking really, really good. And then next to that is a very small patch of direct sown Nigella, and they are starting to come up slowly but surely. I have really tried to water these. Some of them I think just aren't germinating, but whatever I get is just fine. So that is an entire look at everything I have growing in the hoop house. I do have a couple more things to do in here besides direct sowing the area where I'm going to pop those ranunculus out. Once the anemones are done blooming, I'll probably clear that area and then direct sow a filler in there. I will corral the dahlias like I mentioned before, and then I am planning to add, I think, some Hortanova netting maybe to the two sides, especially over at the stock, because some of them are starting to lean. I wasn't planning on it because I didn't think I would have the wind in here, but some of them are leaning a little bit. So maybe I'll do the full garden first and then see how much netting I have left, or maybe I'll just leave this. I don't know. But I know today the next thing I need to do is harvest all of these Costa Apricot snapdragons, because I need all of these for orders for tomorrow. So anyway, I'm going to get on doing that. Again, all the information for this hoop house is linked down below. You can save 10% when you use the code SUNSHINE at Grower Solution. It's a fantastic company, and I absolutely love my greenhouse. I'm probably going to want another one someday, but we'll see. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The next video you should see will probably be a full garden tour, which I have so many new areas this year. I'm doubling my space, so make sure to watch for that. And stay tuned, of course, for a lot more this season, because it's just getting started and I cannot wait to see all the new varieties I'm trying. So stay tuned for all that. We'll see you soon.